Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshor Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Gurvabhishta Sabudakam Guru Ganer Shisha Sambhushitam Chincha Chincha Samasta Veda Nipunam Shri Rupa Pantanugam Govinda Viramujvalam Bharatanam Bhakyam Midam Sundaram Vande Vishwaguruncha Divya Bhagavad Premno Hibhuja Pradam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Vipa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavajanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaudati Se Namaha. And the Nishingadev's prayer, I don't know by heart. This prayers is here. Namaste, Namaste Nrsimhaya Pralada Lada Dayine Hiranyakashi Purvaksha Shilatanka Nakalaye. Today is a doubly happy day for us. It is the divine appearance day of Lord Nishingadev, who appeared to rescue his beloved devotee, and it's also the day that our Gurudev joined the mat. So it is like one of Gurudev's birthdays, you know. So on a double count. Were some devotees going to join by Zoom or no? Nobody confirmed, huh?
Nobody called me.
Okay.
I looked at the telephone.
It's difficult. It's a weekday, so
Yeah.
it's more difficult, I think. So it is a doubly happy day for us. And I was just reflecting, Lord Nishingadev, he is known as the remover of obstacles. And near our temple in Navadvip, there's that famous temple of Nishingadev. And there's a tree out, a very old tree, an ancient tree. And many people come, locals and pilgrims, they come and they tie some type of like cloth or rope on there, and they make some wish, some prayer to Nishingadev, so that he will help to remove different obstacles in their lives. But we are not approaching Nishingadev like that, for the practitioners of bhakti. We are praying, Krishna bhakti. We are praying to Nishingadev to remove the obstacles on the path of devotion. So actually, and it's very significant because, our focus is always on Mahaprabhu and Krishna, right? But in our Jaya Dwani, in the Jai prayers that we chant, Srila Sridhar Maharaj included Nishingadev there. As with this particular angle, Bhakti Vigna Vinashai Nishingadev. Bhakti Vigna Vinashai means the remover of the obstacles in devotion. He the destroyer of the obstacles of devotion. So normally we're not giving so much focus to the Vishnu avatar, right? Our focus is always on Krishna Mahaprabhu, but there's some exception there for Nishingadev. And then what constitutes an obstacle? Because normally we think of obstacles as something that is outside of ourselves, right? We're trying to do something, and then this happens, or that happens, or this person says this, or does this, and then we can't do what we want to do. This is what we normally think of as an obstacle, Or we run out of money, or we have a health problem, or this or that, or some trouble will come, someone will disturb us. But really, the real understanding of an obstacle is what is within ourselves. The inner challenges that we face ourselves. I saw a nice video of an old video actually from the 80s of Gurudev speaking in Bengali on this day, and he began his lecture like that, saying there are many obstacles on the path of devotion. And then he said, like calm, crowd, lobe, lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, envy. These are the real obstacles. So like in, Bhagavad Gita is depicted on a battlefield, and some people, they get disturbed by this. you know. But actually, the real battlefield is inside our own hearts. You know, the real battle is with our ego, you know, and all of our material attachments. So Nishingadeva, he has some special place like that. You know, he can give assistance in removing these obstacles that we face in the practice of devotion. And so our only prayer to Nishingadeva is, you know, please help us, you know, to become more perfect in our service to Mahaprabhu, Shishi, Radha, Krishna, Guru, and Vaishnav. You know, we are not, you know, directly approaching Nishingadeva, but we are asking a prayer for him to help us in our service to Guru, Gauranga, Radha, Krishna, like that.
Is this similar the chanting of to the chanting of Gayatri mantra, which also helps? Praying to Nrsimha is similar from some point to the chanting of Gayatri mantra, which also helps on the path.
I mean, many things help on the path of devotion.
Okay.
But our Gayatri mantras, they are, you know, they're more strictly pertaining to, you know, Mahaprabhu and the worship of Mahaprabhu. The Gayatri mantras, they are expressions of worship to Mahaprabhu and Krishna. But certainly, in a general sense, you know, many things are coming to help us, for sure. And Prahlad Maharaj also has a very special place for the devotees because he is known as he is sometimes referred to as the best of devotees. And also in our Jayadwani, Srila Sridhar Maharaj included Prahlad Maharaj as Bhakta Prabhara Prahlad Maharaj. We're not always saying, we should say more often, but in like the complete Jayadwani that Srila Sridhar Maharaj gave, it is included. So Bhakta Prabhara Prahlad means the best of bhaktas, the best of devotees, Prahlad Maharaj. And so, you know, this can be a little puzzling, you know, because, you know, there are so many great devotees of Krishna. You know, how can, you know, and you know, especially there are the Braja Gopis, there's Radharani, you know, there's so many. So how can you say that Prahlad Maharaj is the best, you know? And the reason is that, you know, the reason there's some special focus on Prahlad is that he is exemplifying the foundations of pure devotion. Like, you know, if you jump to look at the Braja Gopis, the service of the gopis in Vrindavan, it's a little confusing, you know. You know, also if you look at like the Pandavas, you know, who have a very close relationship with Krishna, it can also be a little confusing. But Prahlad Maharaj, he is perfectly situated in Shantaras. He has a passive relationship with Krishna. So his qualities of pure devotion, the teachings that he gives about the foundations of pure devotion, that, you know, they're like building blocks. They're like building blocks in the development of devotion. So his example is very important for that reason. You can be confused if you look at other devotees, but Prahlad's example is very simple and clear. And so then if you understand that all the qualities that Prahlad has, they are a foundation upon which all the other devotees, the devotion of all the other devotees, you know, is built. So they also have those qualities as like a fundamental aspect of their devotion. Then you can better appreciate, you know, who they are. So like in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Sanatana Goswami is very wonderfully depicting this, you know, where he's starting out at a mixed level of devotion. So he starts with karma mishra bhakti, devotion mixed with karma, the desire for action and the results of one's action, fruit of activity. And that's exemplified at the highest by Lord Brahma, the creator. He has that passion to create this world, to be involved in the management of this world. So Lord Brahma is presented as like the epitome of karma mishra bhakti, devotion mixed with karma. And then Lord Shiva is presented as the epitome of jnana mishra bhakti, devotion mixed with the tendency for jnana, knowledge, liberation. And then next comes Prahlad as like the starting. There's no mishra. Mishra means mixture, mix. There's no mishra with Prahlad. There's no mix of anything else, any type of selfish desire, whether subtle or gross, whether material or spiritual. You can also have selfish spiritual desires, right? The desire to be liberated. That is a selfish spiritual desire. So there's no tinge of selfishness in Prahlad. He only exists to adhere to the will. There's no active service because his mood is in Shanta Ras, passive. How is it usually referred to? The Shanta, peaceful. I think they put it. It means like a neutral. They use the word neutral usually, but it means more like passive. Because there is full attachment there. It's not that he doesn't have any feeling as neutral exactly, but full love and attachment for Krishna is there, and full surrender to the Lord's will is there. But there's no like practical expression of that. There's no like clear relationship. There's no like clear personal relationship. There's no intimacy. There's not very much intimacy there, and there's no clear activity. But in his mood, in his heart, he's fully free from any material desires, completely free from any selfish desires, and full of loving attachment for Krishna and full adherence to his will. These are the primary characteristics of Shanta Ras, and that's perfectly shown in Prahlad. And these are, that section of Srimad Bhagavatam is important for us. Gurudev, he didn't always encourage the devotees to read Srimad Bhagavatam. But there were a few sections he especially pointed out as being especially helpful for the devotees. And so the seventh canto where Prahlad Charit is told, the history of Prahlad, that is one that Gurudev, also Dhruva Maharaj, and one or two other sections. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he also put special emphasis on that section of Bhagavatam. There was one time he was sending, was it Bharati Maharaj? He was sending one of his disciples to Vrindavan to lead the Kartik Parikrama, the Braja Mandal Parikrama. And he told him to emphasize the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj, which was a little surprising for some people, Like, you're in Vrindavan, this is the place of Radha and Krishna. We expect you to talk about Radha and Krishna, but he was speaking a lot about the teachings and the history and example of Prahlad Maharaj. And Saraswati Thakur's idea was, before you go to jump to these higher types of devotion, first you have to understand what is the foundation on all of that. What are these, what are the building blocks of that? And so many important points in the history of Prahlad. After Nishingadeva has killed Hiranyakashipu, then Nishingadeva, he's still like in this kind of angry mood, and so all the demigods are coming forward trying to pacify him. Lord Brahma's coming forward, and he's like dripping with blood. He's just like torn out the guts. He's wearing a garland of his intestines. You'll like this story, Chaitanya Priya. Or maybe it will scare you. You. and so he's like still in this like angry mood, and the demigods are the demigods are all like, and all the inhabitants of all the worlds are so relieved because Hiranyakashipu was terrorizing all the planetary systems and trying to take control of everything, and so everyone was so relieved, and everyone's very happy, and but Nishingadeva's still in this mood of anger, and so they're all like all these like different inhabitants of different planets and different regions. They're all coming forward and offering prayers and gratitude to Nishingadeva, but he's still sitting there in this like angry mood, and then finally, maybe Narad or somebody pushes Prahlad. You go forward. You go forward. And then finally, Nishingadeva is pacified, and he takes Prahlad on his lap, and he's licking his head, like the way that a lion will lick their baby cub, that same lap where he destroyed the demon Hiranyakashipu. He's now very gently caressing, Prahlad. So it's a very significant, the pastime, because it's demonstrating the importance of Prahlad. Like nobody else could talk to Nishingadeva in that moment. It's mentioned even Lakshmi Devi, he wouldn't give her any attention in that moment. But Prahlad Maharaj, then he was pacified. But then what I was coming to is then Nishingadeva, naturally he wanted to give some boon to Prahlad. I'm so pleased with your devotion. I want to give you something. And Prahlad, he was actually a little offended by that. In a lower type of devotion, that's like a natural thing, right? I'm offering to you, and I'm thinking, you will also give me something back. You are my great father. You're taking care of me. You're giving me everything. There's some natural idea like that in lower levels of devotion, right? But Prahlad, because he's perfectly situated in Shuddha Bhakti, in pure devotion, he's a little offended by the suggestion that he could possibly, want something in exchange. And so he tells Nishingadeva, there's this line, Nasa Britya Savaivanik. Somebody who's worshiping you, who's devoted to you, and is expecting something in exchange, they are not a devotee, they are not a servant, they are a merchant. They're a businessman. They're doing business with you. So this very clear mood, of exclusive devotion. I am wholly for you, and I don't require anything in return. This is, a very fundamental aspect of the mood of Shuddha Bhakti, of pure devotion. And that is shown very beautifully in Prahlad. It's very complete, actually, the teachings of Prahlad. So much is there. Even Mahaprabhu, the appearance of Mahaprabhu is indicated in, because Mahaprabhu he's a hidden avatar, and not everybody. He's not explicitly described in the scriptures. It is all there in a hidden way. But one of the places where Mahaprabhu is indicated is in Prahlad Maharaj's teachings. He describes him there as, he refers to Mahaprabhu in one verse as the Chana avatar, the hidden avatar. But also another important point in the teachings of Prahlad is the importance of sadhu sangha, the importance of the Vaishnava. That's another key point that is mentioned there. When his father, Hiranyakashipu has his beautiful demon baby, and he sends him for instruction, and then after some time, he's like 5 years old or something. How old is it? I always forget ages. Is she like 4? Oh yeah.
How old are you? How old are you?
You're 4. So Prahlad is like Chaitanya Priya's age.
4.5. Okay.
4.5. Okay. So Prahlad, he's like 4 or 5, like that age, when his father first sends him to start his instruction. And then one day, he calls for him. Oh, my dear boy, has him on his lap. So tell me, what's the best thing that you've learned? What are you learning at school and with your teachers? And there's this very nice verse, Tat sadhu manye survarya dehinam. And he refers to his father as the best of demons. Oh, my father, the best of demons. And the best of asuras. And then he tells him, the best thing that I've learned is that everybody should go to the forest and they should worship Vishnu. They should give up everything and they should just go and worship Vishnu. And this is what Prahlad learned in the womb, right? Because Narada Muni protected Kayadu, right? Her name is Kayadu, Prahlad's mother, when Hiranyakashipu was doing his austerities to become the most powerful person in the world and to defeat Vishnu. While he was doing that, then Narada, he took his wife Kayadu and kept her in his ashram and would instruct her every day. And so Prahlad in the womb, he's hearing everything. And so he gave this, whatever he learned at school, Prahlad just, didn't give any attention to it. But the real knowledge that he learned, from his Gurudev Narada, then he's telling to his father. And then Hiranyakashipu, he's a little puzzled, a little disturbed, but so what's going on? Like where is he learning this? And he asked Shanda and Amarka, they were his teachers. So you should watch out. Maybe there are some spies, some spies coming in to the ashram. Some of Vishnu's agents, secret agents, they're coming in, infiltrating the ashram. Well, watch out. Watch over him. Be careful. And say, so okay, it wasn't us. We don't know what happened. We'll watch out. And then more time goes by, and things get more dangerous because Prahlad starts spreading this to his classmates. He's on a disinformation program. Whatever the teachers told you, it's all bogus. It's all nonsense. This is the real stuff. This is what they're not telling you. I'll give you the real lowdown. And there's a very beautiful description in the Bhagavatam of all these, like after their school hours, right? They finish the normal stuff, and now after the school hours, Prahlad's coming with like the real juicy stuff. And there's a beautiful description of how all the boys, Prahlad called them, like, oh, you want to hear something? And all the boys, they got, like, they're sweet little boys, they're still innocent, they haven't been fully indoctrinated by their parents yet. So they're like these sweet little boys, and it describes how they fix their eyes on Prahlad like bumblebees, like attracted to honey. They all like very eagerly they heard from him and inspire, and so Prahlad inspired them all to sing the glories of Hari. And so this, the teachers were becoming aware of this. This is, things are getting more dangerous. And oh wait, I'm trying to remember the order of everything. But anyhow, then there's another occasion when Hiranyakashipu takes Prahlad on his lap again and tells him and asks him the same question. So what's the best thing that you've learned? And then Prahlad comes out with the 9 processes of devotion. This also comes from Prahlad, the 9 processes of devotion. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam, Iti Pum Sarpita Vishnu, Bhaktischa Nava Lakshana, Kriyeta Bhagavachada, Tanmanye Ditam Uttimam. That, hearing, chanting, remembering, praying, worshipping, serving as I'm missing something. Hearing, Shravanam, Kirtanam, chanting, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vandanam, praying, Archanam, I missed Padasevanam. Padasevanam, worshipping the lotus feet, Archanam, worship, puja, Dasyam, serving as a servant, Sakyam, serving as a friend, and Atmani Vedanam, full self-surrender. I think that was 9, right? Is that 9? This is terrible. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmani Vedanam. Okay. So this was Itipum, then Itipum Sarpita Vishnu. One who directly offers this to Vishnu, they are the best of all men. They are the best of all people, Now by this point, Hiranyakashipu, he's not, it's not cute anymore. Now he's angry. He's not going to indulge this or humor his son in this anymore. So he's angry and he throws him off his lap and he's asking Shandanamarka, how did he learn this? Are you telling him this? And it's not me, it's not me. And so then Hiranyakashipu demands of him, where did you learn this? How did you learn this? And how did you learn this? And then Prahlad's answer is so wonderful because he gives his father advice, because Hiranyakashipu was asking, how did you learn? So then Prahlad answers this is how you can learn, like this. And so first he tells him, there are these 3 verses in particular which are very famous, and Swami Maharaj Prabhupada would preach them very much. And so first he tells him, by yourself you won't be able to do it. Matirna Krishne Padata Svatova Mito Pipadyeta Viharatanam. I can't remember the rest. But the first verse he tells his father is, oh, my dear father, let me tell you how you can learn this. First of all, by yourself, you won't be able to. And, for persons like you who are very addicted to the senses, by yourself, you won't be able to do this. And also, other people who are similar to you, who are also very addicted to the senses, they also won't be able to help you to do this. And thirdly, by a combination of these 2 things, your own efforts and the help of others like you, you won't be able to get this. So, just forget about that, And then the next, Nate vidu swarta gatim hi Vishnum Durashaya ye. I can't remember them. Nate vidu swarta gatim hi Vishnum Durashaya ye gata artamanina. Bahir arta. Bahir means external. Our arta means like of some value. Manina, like considering. So then the next verse he's saying, foolish people in this world, they cannot understand that the real goal of life is Vishnu, is the service of Vishnu. They cannot understand that is the real goal of life. And so Bahir arta manina, they consider what is external to be valuable. What is very superficial and external and material, they consider that to be valuable. They ignore the real wealth, the real purpose of life, and they're on the cover. They're very busy with the cover of things. And so then such foolish persons, they find a guru who is just as foolish as they are, and they follow them very blindly, and they enter into lower and lower species of life, planes of life, like that. And then finally the third verse. So in the first two verses there, he's like telling him what not to do, and then the third verse, then he gives the positive prescription, which is Vaishnava association, sadhu sangha. Naisam matistavadadukramangrim spishachanarta pagamoyarartam hiyasham padarajobhishekam niskinchnanam navrinita javan. And actually it's quite heavy what he says, because he doesn't just say you should get the association of a sadhu, but he says you should bathe in the foot dust of the devotee of Vishnu. Abhishek means like a bath, like you do abhishek to the deity. You have to take a bath. You have to bathe in the foot dust. It's like a major insult. He's because Hiranyakashipu has declared Vishnu as his mortal enemy number one, right? He's made a very open announcement that he wants to kill Vishnu, and he thinks he can kill. He's so foolish. Arrogance makes you foolish, actually. Pride makes you foolish. So you overestimate yourself. So for him, Vishnu is public enemy number one. And now his little 5-year-old son is telling him to take a bath in the foot dust of the devotees of Vishnu. I mean, what kind of an insult? So Hiranyakashipu is completely enraged. And so what's next? To destroy, just kill him, get rid of him. And there's some examples there given, I think spoken by Hiranyakashipu himself, but like if you have an arm that has gone bad, you may have to cut off your own arm. Like if someone has gangrene, then you have to amputate, right? Even though it's a part of your own body. So Hiranyakashipu, he gives some examples like this. He's my son, but he's my enemy. So he announces he has to destroy his own son. And then everybody knows the story. He comes up with so many different ways to try to kill him. Throws him in boiling oil and throws him from a mountain, from a high cliff. Throws him to the bottom of the ocean with rocks tied to him, and has demons poking him with spears and knives and so many different horrible ways. We think we have a hard time sometimes. What about Prahlad? We all have our traumas. We all have our childhood trauma, right? What kind of childhood trauma did Prahlad have? His own father trying to torture him to death. And throughout everything, Prahlad was, just remains fully peaceful, fully absorbed in meditation of the Lord, and he was undisturbed by everything, and the Lord protected him through everything. And so Nishingadeva, he became, Hiranyakashipu, he was becoming more and more frustrated, and then finally he says, I'm going to have to do this myself. I'm going to have to, with my own 2 hands, I'm going to destroy him myself. And so he goes to approach Prahlad, and he's furious, completely furious, and you say that your God is everywhere. He's everywhere, is he? Yes, he's everywhere. He's in this pillar. Yes, he's in this pillar also. And actually, let me see if I can pull it up. Those verses are very beautiful. You can hear those verses. And it's very beautiful because this is one of the, and this is one reason why, I mean, really the main reason why, the Nishingadeva's appearance is particularly special. Amongst all the Vishnu avatar, Nishingadeva has a special place. And the main reason for that is because he appears for the purpose of saving his devotee. Like he's not coming for a general purpose, like saving the world or, et cetera, et cetera. But like specifically, he's coming out of love for his devotee. And so like the importance of the devotee, the pure devotee, is given so much emphasis in this pastime. And so then there in that let's see which chapter. Here it is. In that moment when Nishingadeva comes and destroys Hiranyakashipu, there's one verse in particular which is very nice, saying that he appeared for the purpose of upholding the word of his devotee. Because Prahlad said, yes, very simple heart, yes, Vishnu is in the pillar. Then he had to prove, I'm in the pillar. Krishna, this is a characteristic of Krishna. He doesn't necessarily keep his own promises. Sometimes he breaks his promises, but he will do everything to uphold the promises of his devotees. This is mentioned in different places. So that because Prahlad said that he's in this pillar, then he had to show that he really is in that pillar. Let me. It's a very nice description. Actually, last night we in the Zoom meeting it came up. It's there's some humor also there in the description of this fight that takes place because Nishingadeva, he kind of plays with Hiranyakashipu a little in the beginning, and he lets him think he has a chance, Hiranyakashipu has 0 chance. There's no chance in heaven or hell that he's going to be able to defeat Lord Vishnu. But, Nishingadeva, he's playing with him a little, and he allows him to think, he can win in the beginning. So there's some element of, and meanwhile, all the demigods are watching, like on the edge of their seats, like, don't play with us, please, just get this over with quickly. Like, they're very nervous about the situation. Let's see. Here it is. Okay, so let's see, where should we start? We'll start here. so there's this discussion going on. Hiranyakashipu is being very insulting to Prahlad. Okay. And then he challenges him, oh, is your Lord also in this pillar, in this column? Let me see your most worshipable. No, because you are speaking so much nonsense, I shall now sever your head from your body. Now let me see your most worshipable God come to protect you. I want to see it. Okay, then I'll start from here. Tadaiva tasmin ninado tibishano bahuva ye nanda kataham asputat yam vaisvadish Nyopagatam Tvajadayo Shutvasvadamat Yayam Angamenire. Then from within the pillar came a fearful sound which appeared to crack the covering of the universe. O my dear Yudhishthir, this sound reached even the abodes of the demigods like Lord Brahma. And when the demigods heard it, they thought, oh, now our planets are being destroyed. Savikramam pucha vadep sorujasa nishamya nishadam apurvam adbhutam anta sabayam nada darsha tatpadam vitta chashur yena suradi yutapa. While showing his extraordinary prowess, Hiranyakashipu, who desired to kill his own son, heard that wonderful, tumultuous sound which had never before been heard. Upon hearing the sounds, the other leaders of the demons were afraid. None of them could find the origin of that sound in the assembly. Now this verse is very famous. Satyam vidatam, and Gurudev liked this verse very much. Satyam vidatam nijabritya bhashitam vyaptim cha bhutesha kileshu chatmana ajishya tatyad bhuta rupam udvahan stambe sabayam namrigam namanusham. To prove that the statement of his servant was substantial. In other words, to prove that the Supreme Lord is present everywhere, even within the pillar of an assembly hall. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, exhibited a wonderful form never before seen. The form was neither that of a man nor that of a lion. Thus the Lord appeared in his wonderful form in the assembly hall. And this verse is saying to prove the statement of his servant. And primarily this is referring to Prahlad, but in the background there's also the history with Lord Brahma, because Lord Brahma had promised Hiranyakashipu, right? After Hiranyakashipu did these hundreds of years of austerities and his flesh was all eaten up, then Lord Brahma was compelled to come and give him something to make him happy. and so Hiranyakashipu, he wanted immortality, but Lord Brahma is not immortal. Lord Brahma himself is a mortal being. He's subject to death. He lives for how many millions and billions of years, but he still has to die. So how can he, if he's not immortal, how can he give immortality to others? So Lord Brahma says, well, I can't give you that. So I mean, it's very funny if you think about it. It's almost like a lawyer, like Hiranyakashipu was trying to come up with a legal, like an airtight legal contract. Like, okay, so you can't make me immortal, but make it so I can't die on the ground or in the sky, that I can't be killed by an animal or by a human, that I can't be killed by any type of weapon, that I can't be killed in the daytime or in the nighttime. He's like trying to make sure there's no loopholes, so there's no way that he can die, So he has this long list of stipulations, And Brahma's like, okay. So then the Lord, he's so kind, because he doesn't have to honor this, if he wants, he can dismiss the whole thing, right? But he's honoring Lord Brahma, like Lord Brahma made this promise, Lord Brahma made this contract, so I'm going to honor that, and then he finds the loopholes, right, to get through it. So then, he appears in the twilight, like in between the day and the night. He's appearing as half man, half lion. He just kills him with his nails, not exactly with the wet. He kills him on his lap, so it's not on the ground, it's not in the sky. He covers every detail, to honor Lord Brahma, But it's also Gurudev mentioned, and maybe it's mentioned in some purports or something, but that afterwards, Nishingadeva told Lord Brahma, like, please don't do that again. Like, why are you making it so complicated for me? Don't do that again. We can read a little bit more. Sattvaminam parito vipashyam stambhasya madhyad anunir jihanam nayam mrigo napi naro vichitram aho kimeta nu mrigendra rupam. While Hiranyakashipu looked all around to find the source of the sound, that wonderful form of the Lord, which could not be ascertained to be either a man or a lion, emerged from the pillar. In amazement, Hiranyakashipu wondered, what is this creature that is half man and half lion? I'll jump ahead to the English here, because otherwise it's a lot. Hiranyakashipu studied the form of the Lord, trying to decide who the form of Nishingadeva standing before him was. The Lord's form was extremely fearsome because of his angry eyes, which resembled molten gold, his shining mane, which expanded the dimensions of his fearful face, his deadly teeth, and his razor-sharp tongue, which moved about like a dueling sword. His ears, very detailed description. His ears were erect and motionless, and his nostrils and gaping mouth appeared like the caves of a mountain. His jaws parted fearfully, and his entire body touched the sky. His neck was very short and thick, his chest broad, his waist thin, and the hairs on his body as white as the rays of the moon. His arms, which resembled flanks of soldiers, spread in all directions, as he killed the demons, rogues, and atheists with his conch shell, disc, club, lotus, and other natural weapons. Hiranyakashipu murmured to himself, Lord Vishnu, who possesses great mystic power, has made this plan to kill me. But what is the use of such an attempt? Who can fight me? Thinking like this and taking up his club, Hiranyakashipu attacked the Lord like an elephant. Just like a small insect falls forcefully into a fire, and the insignificant creature becomes invisible. When Hiranyakashipu attacked, like, this is all just arrogance, like to think you actually have a chance here, When Hiranyakashipu attacked the Lord, who was full of effulgence, Hiranyakashipu became invisible. This is not at all astonishing, for the Lord is always situated in pure goodness. Formerly, during creation, he entered the dark universe and illuminated it by his spiritual effulgence. Thereafter, the great demon, Hiranyakashipu, who was extremely angry, swiftly attacked Nishingadeva with his club and began to beat him. Lord Nishingadeva, however, captured the great demon along with his club, just as Garuda might capture a great snake. O Yudhisthira, O great son of Bharat, when Lord Nishingadeva gave Hiranyakashipu a chance to slip from his hands, just as sometimes Garuda plays with a snake and lets it slip from his mouth, the demigods who had lost their abodes and who were hiding behind the clouds for fear of the demon did not consider that incident very good. Like, please don't mess with us. Just get this over with. Please don't play around. They're like homeless. Like Hiranyakashipu's taken their homes, their whole planet. They don't have anywhere to live. Please, my Lord, just get this over with. Indeed, they were perturbed. When Hiranyakashipu was freed from the hands of Nishingadeva, he falsely thought that the Lord was afraid of his prowess. Therefore, after taking a little rest from the fight, he took up his sword and shields and again attacked the Lord with great force. Making a loud, shrill sound of laughter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nrsimha, who was extremely strong and powerful, captured Hiranyakashipu, who was protecting himself with his sword and shield, leaving no gaps open. With the speed of a hawk, Hiranyakashipu moved sometimes in the sky and sometimes on the earth, his eyes closed because of fear of Nishingadeva's laughter. As a snake captures a mouse or Garuda captures a very venomous snake, Lord Nishingadeva captured Hiranyakashipu, who could not be pierced even by the thunderbolt of Lord Indra. As Hiranyakashipu moved his limbs here, there, and all around, very much afflicted at being captured, Lord Nishingadeva placed the demon on his lap, supporting him with his thighs, and in the doorway of the assembly hall, the Lord very easily tore the demon to pieces with the nails of his hands. Lord Nishingadeva's mouth and mane were sprinkled with drops of blood, and his fierce eyes, full of anger, were impossible to look at. Licking the edge of his mouth with his tongue, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nishingadeva, decorated with a garland of intestines taken from Hiranyakashipu's abdomen, resembled a lion that has just killed an elephant. Okay, well, maybe I'll stop there. Then still very foolishly, this army of soldiers of Hiranyakashipu, they also come and try to attack him, and very easily the Lord destroys him. And then all the devas, they begin to congregate in the sky, very happily celebrating this moment. Hiranyakashipu had been exactly like a fever of meningitis in the head of the three worlds. My goodness. Thus, when the wives of the demigods in the heavenly planets saw that the great demon had been killed by the personal hands of the Supreme Lord, their faces blossomed in great joy. The wives of the demigods again and again showered flowers from heaven upon Nishingadeva like rain. Jai Bhagavan Shri Nishingadev ki Jai. Bhakta Prabhar Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai. Okay, well, and also, it's very significant, nothing's without accident, especially when it comes to the pastimes of the great souls. And, so the fact that Gurudev appeared on this day is very significant, on this day, which is particularly celebrating the position of the devotee, of the pure devotee. Gurudev came on this day and, fully surrendered at the feet of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. So it is very, very happy because, we think without, if that didn't happen, where would we be if Gurudev didn't, come to take that step, where would we be? What would we have? We don't want to think about that. So it's also a very happy day for us to meditate on our good fortune, to have the connection of our beloved Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar, Govindadev Goswami Maharaj. Okay, maybe I'll stop there. Anyone want to add anything there? Would you like to sing, Prabhu? Could I? Sure, you can stop, yeah.